cmpradio.net. It's the station.
All right, here we go. Monday night, Dave Burman, cmpradio.net, Delco Sports 360. Going to focus on Sun Valley High School football and really Sun Valley sports in general as much as we can here. Our special guest, first of all, the football coach, Sun Valley Vanguards, Ernie Ellis, in year number 2. To the far right, we have one of the ball players. He's a senior, Teddy Podboreski. He's a wide receiver, right, Teddy? And you want to...
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Good. I love the projection there. Wants to be a broadcaster someday, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. And youth coach, Northley, the middle school, right? Northley?
Yes, sir.
Yes, all right. J.R. DiPro. But even I didn't know your real name is J.R. or John.
DiProjetto.
DiProjetto. And you're originally from...
I grew up in Rochester, New York, then moved to Denver, Colorado, and then made my way here.
Yeah, so, okay, you've been around the block. I know you're a big Broncos fan, and you were excited when I talked about John Mobley getting in the Hall of Fame, and the pride of Chester, went to Chichester High School, and yeah.
Yes, sir. John Mobley. Met his mom one time. She was decked out in Broncos gear, so obviously we had to have a conversation. She lived actually over in Brookhaven, so
that's nice.
Hoping to run into her again one day.
Good stuff, man. A lot of great things going on. We have so many high schools in Delaware County. I'm glad to have Sun Valley on. You guys get your kids, Coach Ellis, from a combination of Parkside, Brookhaven, Upland. They go to Chester High, and all of Aston. Am I missing another area?
Nope, just the 3.
That's 3. So, all right, your season, second year, 4-3. But let's talk about your history. You went to Sun Valley.
Graduated from Sun Valley in 96.
You look younger than that. I will say that.
Thank you.
Looking good. And tell us, so you grew up in Aston or Brookhaven or Parkside?
So I grew up in Upland, moved to Brookhaven around the age of 10. Our Lady of Charity student, jumped over to Coburn Elementary, then through the Delco system.
There you go. Nice. A lot of rich history of Sun Valley football, and I'll get into that shortly. So then you ended up going to Sun Valley, graduated 96, and where'd you go to college?
I did not. I went right to work for the family business.
School of Hard Knocks. Talk about the family business. You have a little bit of Chester roots there. So does your wife.
Absolutely. So my family has always been embedded in Upland and Chester. My father had a produce store from the age of 18 through, for most of his life. Me, fresh out of high school, his business kind of declined, and I turned that into a sneaker store.
What street are you talking about?
Right on 9th Street, across from the old Resurrection Church.
Oh, there you go.
9th and Highland.
So much history in this town, and hopefully they continue to try to keep turning it around, city of Chester. So then you got into the business. How did you get into high school or football coaching?
So my brother was a youth coach.
Is that Tommy?
Tommy,
I've
correct.
never met him. He is so passionate, the wrestling coach. What a great job. But anyway.
Yeah, so I started out kind of, watching him and his love and passion for it. And I really couldn't quite understand what the draw was. And as my son started to get into sports, I started to get involved, and I kind of got the bug of coaching when I was at the supermarket with my wife, and there was one of the kids that I had coached who was, Mom, there's Coach Ernie, there's Coach Ernie. And she told me what a positive impact I had on her son. And to me, it just kind of like fueled my fire, like that I could have that kind of impact on someone else's children, just kind of blew me away, and fell in love with it. Coached for Aston AA for 13 seasons. I did some double duty under Mark Piceni, where I was coaching at Aston and coaching at the high school, helping run their JV program for a couple years. When they went through a coaching change, I stayed on with Jim Grugan for 3 years. He had to leave due to his work situation.
Yeah, Jim was there. I have all the coaches listed right here, but you still have the game program and all the history.
Sure.
So Jim was there 2011, 2013.
Yep. So when he left, I was a little devastated because he was truly a great coach to work under. He really valued what his assistants had to say. And I learned a lot from him.
Where's he from?
He was at Conwell Egan, I believe, up in the city.
Okay.
He was a city, Catholic League guy who just happened to work right over the Commodore Barry Bridge, and Sun Valley opened up, and it kind of worked out for him. So, like I said, I learned a ton load off of Jim. When Ray Junta came in, didn't really mesh really well. So I went my separate ways. I got into officiating. I officiated for a couple years. And
That's a tough job itself.
I'll be honest with you, man. I love the game, and I definitely gave officiating my all. And then I got the call to see if I would be interested in running the freshman program at Sun Valley. So I went, I interviewed for that, did that for a few seasons, and, as things happened with Coach Bernhardt, the spot opened up, and, I kind of referred to Sun Valley as my Notre Dame.
There you go. The complex is one of the best in the state of PA. It's absolutely beautiful. I hope people appreciate that.
I certainly do.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, so you're off to a 4-3 start, best start since 2017. Thanks here, a guy that we're going to give a shout out. Again, it's Teddy Podboreski, senior wide receiver, and tell us what Teddy means to your ball club.
So Teddy's a young man that I had when he was a freshman on the freshman team, and he just plays hard. He's the kind of guy who, has no quit. And really just loves to compete. He's had some injuries, and he's battled through them, and he's actually just coming back off an injury and can't wait to get him back onto the field, just because he's been around. Best route runner I've ever coached, and I've had a few decent ones, and his routes are exceptional.
Your college plans, Teddy?
My college plans are to probably go to a 4-year university and graduate with a degree in broadcasting and communications. I really just love to talk about football and just any sport in general, but really football is my passion, and that's where I like to be, and I like to talk about, pro stuff and contracts and everything else that goes into it.
Yeah, a lot of really good schools. You're going to have you had any idea what schools you might be going to? You have a choice?
I've had some ideas. I'm looking at South Carolina. I've looked at Penn State. Temple is for sure. My mother went to Temple, so that's a big one.
Great school.
To go there. I've looked at CSB Media Arts, that's in New Jersey, and Rowan University, which I really like too. So a couple decent schools, but I really want to go there for broadcasting and communications.
You got the voice. What kind of communications program do they have at Sun Valley?
Sun Valley, they don't really have that much communication programs. They really don't. So what I really did was I started my own podcast, and I invited my friends on there, and I would do my own thing, and then I would just go through go through the motions, basically. Just talk about different things, what people want to hear. Just kind of like, I wanted to voice my opinion on what I thought of, different sports and everything. So,
Are you a Philadelphia sports fan? Pro sports?
yes, sir.
Okay, so Flyers, Sixers, Eagles, Phillies.
Yes, sir, always.
I'll be 65, and I went through this, like talking about the Phillies, for example. I mean, I wasn't old enough. 1964, you heard about that. We had a 6.5 game lead. Back then, you win the National League, you go right to the World Series. We lost 10 in a row, and then the Cardinals beat us, and they won the World Series. Then in the 76, 70, could I give you a trivia question here? Who's the Phillies manager when they won the World Series in 1980?
Oh.
Ernie, do you remember that?
I do
Dallas.
not know.
Dallas Green. There you go. There you go. So 76, 77, we had 78. We had some unbelievable teams, man. There was Schmidt and Bowen, so I could go on and on about that. But we finally got it done in 1980, and then reverse 80, and you get 08, and then we win it again in 08. And you, you probably were.
I was alive for '08 for sure.
That's been that, Ernie. It goes so fast. It's unbelievable.
It does go fast.
It's unbelievable, baby. So, JR, good to see you. You have a great voice. We did a game on DelcoHoops.com, play-by-play basketball a couple years ago. Tell us about the Northley, what you do for Northley Sports. And you got to give a shout-out. I know your daughter played last year on the girls' volleyball team, and we'll get that in a second because I work with a girl, Amber, who she's friends with a lot of people. She went to Sun Valley, was a really good player back in the day. I worked with her at Burman's Medical. But, JR, Northley.
First off, Dave, thanks for having me.
No problem.
CMP, go way back.
Jean-Pierre Bryce. 5 years he's been doing
happy
this.
that you're doing great, man. Really am. So keep that up. Thanks for having me. I told you to be on the show one day. Hey, so Northley football, this is my second year. Honestly, I've known Ernie for quite a while. Once he got hired, I was a big fan of Ernie being hired because, as you know, I'm very into the community sports scene. Ernie's very much into the community sports scene. We want to see the best for our school district. And last year, I got approached about coaching the Northley football team from a few different people. I was interested, but I wasn't sure about the commitment part of it. But, I'm going to tell you what, I'm addicted to coaching football now.
Well, you have to be, and you also have to have time for your wife.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
You got to have time
The
for
only
the
way we can do this is if our wives support us, Dave.
Right. Now,
Amen.
she puts up with a lot from me because I'm all over the place, but I never had any kids. She has 2. But they're older, so we have a chance. But we go to games together. She spots for me, especially the Chester games, Coatesville games. I'm doing some O'Hara football games also this year. All right, so anyway, and you have a couple of boys, right?
I have 2 boys. The oldest senior this year, he actually went to school with Teddy all the way through pretty much. Started out at Parkside, went to Coburn, went to Northley, went to Sun Valley. So he's been in 4 schools in Delco, and we love the school district. It offered both of our boys everything they needed. My oldest boy plays baseball and golf. My youngest boy, he's kind of floating around. He plays soccer. That seems to be his favorite sport right now, but he's a season-to-season kid, so.
What grade's he in?
He's in 10th grade.
He's in 10th grade.
He actually,
But I've been
he's in the same
following you.
grade as Teddy's brother, I believe.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So the volleyball. Let's talk about the girls' volleyball team.
Oh, boy.
And they've lost. I think it says 1 on the
15-1.
15-1.
District 1 website. Now they play Shanahan. Or not? Is it Shanahan?
Shanahan tomorrow night.
That Ernie's daughter played for 4 years at Sun Valley.
Yeah,
she was
okay,
a heck
Ernie.
of a Sun Valley volleyball player, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we're pumped up about volleyball the last few years.
Yeah, and you guys have a live stream there at the games also. So tell it, your daughter, all right, so you're married. Your wife is from?
My wife, Christy, is originally from 6th Street on the West End. She moved to Brookhaven. That's where I met her, actually at a friend of mine's older brother's graduation party, and have been together ever since. Like 7th grade, pretty much. End of 7th grade, yeah.
That's a long time, man.
I got
that's
lucky.
A train. That's a good old train right there. Ernie Ellis, Sun Valley football coach, head coach. We have Teddy Podboreski. All right. He's a senior wide receiver. That's your spot?
Yes, sir.
All right. For Sun Valley 4-3 football team. We're going to get to meet the meat of that. And J.R. DiPro, youth coach. So you have 2 daughters, or?
So I have a son who's 21. Anthony played for Sun Valley.
Oh, yeah, right. There you go. That's Anthony's your son.
He went on, played at Williamson, and he's now working for Pico. He's in training for lineman. He's climbing poles.
And was he a lineman in high school?
No.
I mean, yeah, ironically.
No, he was a quarterback. He jumped around a little bit at Williamson, tight end and quarterback.
When did he graduate high school? Would it be
now you're putting me on the spot.
2015, 16?
No.
17?
He played under
18.
He played under Junta.
18.
Oh, okay.
2018.
So, yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, this is class of 23 this year.
Right.
It's unbelievable. So, yeah, and then you have a daughter? Or
So I have my daughter Gianna. She's my oldest. She's 18. She's at the University of Penn. She played 4 years volleyball for Sun Valley and 4 years of lacrosse at Sun Valley.
Lacrosse, what a great game. And so 2 children.
Yeah. No, my youngest is a 10th grader.
Right.
She's a field hockey player and lacrosse player.
And the fields, the spectacular facilities. So the volleyball program, tell us, coach, and how they have made that program so tough to beat in this. Chesmont's very tough, and, District 1's very good in volleyball.
So if you want to play volleyball at Sun Valley, you pretty much have to be a club player. It's that competitive. That many girls go out for it, and they're playing volleyball probably 9 months out of the year. Not necessarily under the Sun Valley coach,
Right.
But they're traveling the East Coast. Getting in a gazillion tournaments, and
It's very
they're out at
competitive.
Spooky Nook constantly, and it depends on what club team they go for. In the past, my daughter's group, a lot of the club players were from DVA. That was kind of like the predominant club for her group. I think that kind of changes every few years. It swings back and forth amongst the different volleyball clubs, but it's funny because you'll go see Bishop Shanahan. Well, we saw the majority of those girls over the weekend at a volleyball tournament, so it was like
Right.
they know each other pretty well.
Now, they are a private school, so they have a little bit of an advantage over the public schools, but it should be, some sports, like Archbishop Carroll in football and O'Hara in football haven't won a game yet. So there are sometimes like Chichester beat O'Hara.
Pendulum swings,
Yeah,
it's
right. But of the upper echelon, the Gorettis and the
Right.
Romans and the St. Joe's Prep, it's tough. It's tough. But that's a story for another day. I've hit that a million times. So a big game tomorrow, and so you're still following the program. Obviously, I'd love to see them. They're in AAA. There's 4 classes in volleyball, girls volleyball. So they're AAA.
I believe they are.
And they have a
now.
chance, hopefully, to make the state tournament. Nothing like making the state tournament, but you got to get out of the district.
Absolutely, yeah. So they've had some Bishop Shanahan on the ropes in the past, but never really able to put them away. Unionville's another one.
Oh yeah.
Boyertown is who I don't know, maybe 2-3 years in a row ended up getting knocked out of the playoffs against Boyertown. But Jenna Jones is without a doubt, she's awesome to watch.
How many years is she? What grade?
She's a junior, I believe.
Okay. Is that Mrs. Jones, who runs the Brookhaven basketball daughter?
That is correct.
Okay. And I think her older sister coached at Ridley?
Yes.
Was it volleyball
Yes.
too?
Yep.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be, is she committed to a college yet?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
She's just a solid all-around player. If she has a bad ball here or there, doesn't affect the rest of her game. She's got that mental toughness that some kids just don't have.
So that's going to be tomorrow, volleyball at Shanahan, or is it going to be at Sun Valley?
Pretty sure it's at Sun Valley.
It's at Sun Valley. You should stop by, Dave. It's a food truck frenzy also for the seniors.
What time does that start?
The match starts at 7 for the varsity match.
Okay. I got a Delco meeting tomorrow night. I'm on the Delco Board Hall of Fame. The
Stop by before for the food truck frenzy.
working. Maybe I have to come over for that right after work.
I mean, raise money for help us raise money for Teddy and my son and all the rest of the kids.
Yeah, at least, and I can definitely pump. Oh, you're pumping it up now. You're pumping it up now. We're on live.
Stop by tomorrow night, Sun Valley. There's posts up on Facebook. Food truck frenzy. Got 4 food trucks coming in. Then you can stop in and watch Sun Valley volleyball in Bishop Shanahan.
Big. And the you want to talk about the JV? Do they play before the varsity?
The JV does play. I believe they play like an hour before.
I think they typically start around 5 or 5:30.
Okay, got that. So volleyball is great, and I want to go back to football. That's okay. So Sun Valley football with Ernie Ellis, head coach, year number 2. We have one of his wide receivers. He wants to be a broadcaster, and he most likely will. And you can work with, you can keep in touch with CMP right here. I'm sure he's got some stuff for you. Yep. Senior Teddy Podboreski and youth coach J.R. DiProjetto. All right, Sun Valley, 4-3. By the way, great coaching staff, including Kevin Steinmetz.
Yes, my man Kevin. I refer to him as Big Head.
He's a good PR guy. Now, he has Jake's at Shippensburg, the oldest son.
Yes.
And the younger, what grade's the youngest one?
7th grade.
Right,
he plays for St. Thomas. He's a baller.
So, what sport? Just football, or is he playing basketball?
To be honest with you, he's just gifted at whatever he decides to do. He stepped away from baseball for a few years and got into lacrosse and went back this year, made the district team at Aston Middletown. They had a nice little run. He's dabbled with basketball. He's dabbled with wrestling. He's kind of just good at everything.
There he is. His first name is, the youngest one is...
Steinmetz, Shane.
Yeah, Shane Steinmetz.
Yeah.
Jake's
the older one.
And Kevin, a proud graduate of Penwood High School.
Penwood, yep.
Yeah, there you go. Vanguard football. Pencrest, the guys from Garnet Valley came back. So Pencrest, you started the season 27-19, a pretty close game in Pencrest.
Yeah, so we, going into this season, we kind of wanted to create a new defensive look. Previous year, we were a 4-2-5, and that was kind of like the only front we ran, majority of the time, that we were super comfortable with. But based on personnel, we dabbled with a few things, and it's kind of morphed into multiple looks, multiple fronts. We can do a lot of different things, and not taking anything away from those guys. They do a fabulous job, and they're definitely on the right track. Pencrest, we were still feeling ourselves out on the defensive side of the ball that first game.
But you got the W.
We got the W.
Then you had to play Pat Clark, his final season, Pride of Chester, St. James High School. You probably knew all that stuff. Yep. And Pat is retiring, and they're just tough. Unionville, 35-14, they beat you.
Yeah, so I can honestly say that they are extremely strong. They don't do anything, super out of the box. They're just kind of smash mouth, and I tell my kids all the time, a lot of these games are won in the weight room in January through August.
No doubt, and you learn. Great Valley, they've been kind of down, but not this year. They're pretty good this year. I mean, they beat you guys 40-6, and that game was at Great Valley High School. The Unionville game was at Sun Valley. So week 3, tell us about the Great Valley game.
So Great Valley, we went in. It was kind of a weird setting. They had an electrical issue with, I think, one of their speakers that kind of delayed the game a little bit. We were out there, and I could kind of just see the guys kind of like started to flatline a little bit pre-game. Came out rough. We ended up at halftime, I believe it was 14-6, and then the wheels fell off in the second half. We had 2 long snaps, not make it back to the punter. And that just kind of, it was self-destruct.
Yeah, that sets you back. That's a lot. The center position is huge. So at all levels, as you know.
Only positive thing that came out of that particular situation was we ended up throwing a freshman out there who is an exceptional long snapper. We pulled the senior, and the reason we used the senior was because he got down the field faster to cover. But we found ourselves a really solid long snapper for the next 3 seasons after this.
What's his name?
Jacob Hiddle.
Jacob Hill.
Hiddle.
Hiddle.
TT.
Hittle.
Yes, sir.
Is he play defense also?
No, we're just kind of keeping him at long snapper. He plays JV. He'll do offense and defensive line.
Right.
But for varsity, he's our long snapper.
So Great Valley beat you 40-6. Westchester Henderson's been a tough year. Bob Bryce, first year head coach, and Harry's also helping out.
Yeah.
My man Harry. Saw them again. They gave Chester a good game. It was 22-0. Chester's defense was just too much for him. It was kind of a kind of ugly day anyway.
Right.
But anyway, that was a 28-9 to beat Henderson. And that's still a good win because they are 5A. You're 5A also. But just to get that win at home. And we're going to talk about some of your stud players in a second here. I know it's a team effort, but you have some beasts out there. So Henderson, tell us about the 28-9 victory.
So we kind of felt like we let the Henderson game last year slip through our fingers. That was one that we definitely wanted back. Teddy shaking his head. Yeah. We were in it, and good teams take care of business, and there was a few plays that previous year that we kind of wish we had back, and it left a sour taste in our mouth, and the kids were pumped and knew what that game meant, and they came out and they just took care of business. That's actually the game that Anthony Laird was reborn, our defensive tackle,
right,
who's been tearing it up. We had a conversation with him, and the conversation was pretty much like, let's stop being a freelancer. We do all the homework for you. We give you the keys, follow your keys, and he's been on fire ever since that Henderson game.
What grade's he in?
He's a senior.
All right. College potential there?
He's going into the armed forces.
There you
they
go.
actually just did a really nice piece on him.
Yeah.
I think it came out last Friday.
Yeah, I have to delve into that story a little bit more. So that's great. Sorry, so you get the then you got Avongrove coming up. Your record at that time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Week 5, you were 2-2. Avongrove, big school.
Yeah.
6A, one of the few 6As in the Chesmont. Of course, Sun Valley plays in the Chesmont. And you lost. Was that the overtime game?
That was the double overtime.
Double overtime. And Teddy, you want to talk about that? Your analyzation of that. Right there, you can play with some of the better teams.
I'd say it was a very good game on both sides of the ball, but I definitely think that we were pushing them back a lot from our offensive line, going to our guards, Travis Powell and Matt Howard. Those are the two pieces to our offensive line. They're always pulling. They're knocking people down. But I think definitely they gave us a chance in that game, and we were just running the ball really hard, and we were doing good on defense. The defensive line and the offensive line. That's where football games are won most of the time, in the trenches. Like, that's just simple facts. But we were doing good there, and I feel like we got cheated out by the refs a little bit. But, we held their own, and we just took the tough loss.
Yeah, I saw some. I kind of try to stay away. We all know, Coach, we all know a lot of officials around here, but they were. I don't know. Well, the game was at Avongrove. Chester County officials.
So really, it's my understanding that they were Philly Public League officials who were, if they don't have work, because most public league games are on Saturdays.
Right.
So, there's always an official shortage. So they,
a different style of football.
Absolutely a different style.
From the Philly pub, it's
Sure.
more run and gun, you would say. And,
Yeah.
But anyway, so just it happens, man, and it is tough, right, Jean-Pierre? It is tough, but so.
Listen, there were plenty of opportunities that it should have never came down to officiating.
Right.
So
Right.
we live and we learn.
So Avon Grove, so you lose that one 35-28, double overtime, right, Teddy?
I'm going to be honest with you. So Joe Coffey, their head coach, dynamite coach. Really like the guy a lot. After watching the film and watching some of the stuff they did, like I tip my hat to the man, like for sure.
They still dress like 100 kids because
No, I mean they everybody has more than us. I feel like, but
what do you guys have now? About 50?
Yeah, we're 51.
Yeah.
You know,
You'd
but
like that more,
but now that includes my freshmen as well, where
right.
they have a freshman team.
Right. Chester has about 50, 53, something like that, and a lot of ninth graders playing also. So, then Penwood, it's been a tough year. The last couple of years been tough for Penwood. It was supposed to be at Penwood, but it came to your place. And it was actually Penwood's homecoming, I believe.
Yep.
All right. And you took care of business there, 29-6, but they have athletes. They were hanging with Chester.
Absolutely.
Have athletes, and he'll that Addo troop, he'll hopefully keep that thing going. Because I want all we want all the teams to be really, really good, because it just makes a better league and all that stuff. But 29-6, you beat Penwood.
Yeah,
I watched that game.
Great feeling. It's kind of weird to get, when you're so used to playing on Friday nights. I can't really explain like the feeling that I get. I get anxiety. I throw up before every game that I've ever coached. It's just my nerves get to me. And it was kind of weird because it was like a really dreary day. We weren't sure if the game was going to take place until late on Friday.
Great job getting that done.
Yeah, but hey, I totally tip my hat to our AD for that.
Yeah,
Did a great job with that. And, the kids knew that they had to come out and take care of business, and I thought they did a great job.
Speaking of, how about Pat Brown? He's all over, man. I have yet to meet him in person. He's a St. James guy, and he's one of your great PR dudes, and he's everywhere, man. So tell us about Pat Brown.
So,
real quick, CMP, Jean-Pierre, do you have the thread on, or is this nobody's commenting? Nobody's commenting. All right, but anyway.
So Pat Brown is somehow related to my wife. So I have seen him at multiple family gatherings, and we always talk football, and he really understands like what I want. As a coach, you have to love your kids. If you don't love the kids, then you probably shouldn't be a coach.
But you got to give them tough love, though.
Absolutely tough love.
Yeah.
But Pat was dishing out some tough love today at practice.
I can't see him being mean.
Oh yeah, he's got it. He's right,
always
Ted?
jovial.
He definitely has a little bit in him.
So
got some Chester in him. There you go.
I seen him last game. Oh man, he got into one of the players. I loved every second of it. And then right after that, the player went in.
Wow.
Recovered a fumble.
All right,
sure. That's coaching, man.
Well, the good thing is I'll be sharing the link later or tomorrow. You can watch the replay of this thing on YouTube. All right, so Pat Brown, yeah.
So we've chatted football for a long time, and he got remarried and now resides part-time in Brookhaven, and the other part he still lives in New Jersey.
Oh, that's why I see his.
So he commutes quite a bit. So there was an open spot, and he understands the direction of what I want to do.
So Sun Valley football head coach Ernie Ellis, one of his ball players, senior Teddy Podberesky.
Yes, sir.
And that's how you spell it too. Podberesky and J.R. DiProjetto. We'll get to you, J.R. Get the Gabe.
Hey, I'm just happy to be here.
You got the Gabe Kapler look, man.
Hey.
My hero.
Hey, I know you like Gabe.
Anyway, well, he good for I was a little tough on
He's
him.
out of here.
Yeah, but you did a good job for the Giants, not this year. And we're going to talk some pro sports with you. Ernie, you're big. Are you all Philly? All Philly?
I'll be honest, man. I love high school sports. Okay. I'll watch a little college. Mm-hmm. I'll watch some pros, but my heart's not into anything other than high school.
But yours is right, Teddy. You just okay. And you have a Super Bowl already. Took me. I was 2 years old when the Eagles won it in 1960, and it took me to I was 60 years old to finally see a world championship. All right, Penguin. Then you took on Westchester East, and you really they're having a tough year themselves. And again, you took care of business, 50-14. So that made you 4-3.
Yeah, homecoming always adds a little extra juice. They have a stud athlete over there that our kids were geared up for, Mitch Ragney, fabulous football player. He's a little banged up and has been this season, but the kids just kind of rose to the occasion. I felt that we had a great game plan. We didn't have a great week of practice last week because the weather was terrible, but we try to give our kids things that they can be successful at and not overcomplicate. Us as coaches tend to try and overcomplicate from time to time.
Right.
So we try and keep that simple, simplistic, game plan and get things done. Execution.
No doubt about it. All right, 4-3. You're right now at the season ended today. You be in the District 1 5A tournament. And you were there before you got there a couple of times. Then it gets even tougher. All right, so now you have 3 really, Ruston, powerhouse, Mike St. Clair, head coach, long time. Kennett with Sparacino. And we'll go one game at a time, and then you have Oxford. Then we'll just focus on one game at a time. Let's focus on the Ruston game at home. Hopefully you get a packed house there. What do you have to do to beat that team?
Execution.
Yes.
We have to be able to retain the ball. We have to hold on to the ball. Hopefully try and shorten the game, eat up some clock.
How's Mike do it every year?
I mean, if you look at his offense, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
I mean, they just do it really, really well.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you know the play or not.
Right.
If your guys execute, you're going to move the sticks.
Just like Garnet Valley, Strathaven with the wing tee, and those teams win and win and win. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're really polished at the fundamentals of football, and we hope to get there.
That's what I mean, and that's like Pencrest with their. I'm blank on the coach's name, the new Pencrest coach.
I'm terrible with names, Dave.
I usually am, but he was there before. Then he left.
Right.
Now he's back, and Mike Rickey was talking about him. I was watching the Garnet Valley football game the other night. He was a special guest at halftime, and Mike said good things are happening. Oh, they were playing. Who were they playing? They were playing Pencrest the other night. Mm-hmm. So it was a buddies against buddies, and he just said they're getting there. You can't really look at the score, but they're going to try to pattern. And what is it about Garnet Valley? I mean, I know you don't get a chance to play them, but it's unbelievable what they do, and they lost 36 seniors from last year.
So I think Garnet Valley does a fabulous job at building the family atmosphere. Their motto is oneness. There's no I. It's all team related, and it takes time to get people to buy into that. And when they do, great things happen.
Yeah, and Coach Van Wyck, right, the first year.
Yes. Well, they had 150 kids, from what I hear from a couple teachers that live out in Garnet Valley. 150 kids go out for middle school football. So numbers, I always say there's strength in numbers. I mean,
absolutely strength in numbers, but that comes from a successful program, and they do a great job at the bridge between the high school, the middle school, the CYO team, and the BYC Bulldogs.
Great athletic director. He's on our Delco Board Hall of Fame. Delco Hall of Fame board, Seth Bruner.
Ernie's trying to do the same thing around here. I mean, he's got SNA coaches, Stephen Dominic, who is doing a great job with the 13
I haven't met him yet, yeah.
You got 2 guys on my staff who coach over at the AA. So we're trying to bridge it so that, obviously, to keep our athletes home, okay? That's my number one job.
Well, you kept a bunch of them home, including, I'll start off with senior Todd Harper.
Todd Harper. Love Todd.
And he's
young
good
man.
basketball player too.
Yeah. A great young man.
What's he just brings? He's such a, I'm going to say professional. He's such a he's very professional out there. He's very.
Todd does exactly the
Right.
role you ask him to do if he buys into the system that you're using. I coached him when he was younger. I can guarantee you right now, there's absolutely no difference in his attitude, his work ethic,
None.
his energy. I mean, the kid he's a great kid. I mean, I've watched him.
And you know what's awesome about Todd? If there's stuff left out on the field, Todd will pick it up.
Nice.
He's a huge leader.
Huge
There you
leader.
go. And he hopefully, I don't know if he's going to play college baseball, basketball or football, but he's going to be a good pickup for any university.
Oh, without a doubt, because he's totally all about the team. Selfless player for sure.
As your public address announcer says, Noah Griffin. Oh, man, I met him and Donnie Mayron at the LA Fitness a couple years ago. Summer of 2020, actually. It was pretty cool playing basketball with him. And I got a picture with them, but they were mad because me and some other old head beat them, and we were pushing them around a little bit.
They're
in
competitors.
basketball. Yeah, they were a little upset. But anyway, Noah. But I got a nice picture with Noah last year because I also public address announcer for Chester Charter High School in Sun Valley, plays them in basketball. So Noah is, I'm so glad he's playing football. I didn't know he was a football player.
Oh, I've known Noah since probably about 5 years old.
He's a junior.
Started playing flag football. I was there the day he broke his femur. I think he was about 8 years old, playing against Ridley Park Parkers. Yeah, I've known that family for a long time. I had Danny, his older brother, for a couple years at Sun Valley. So, yeah, he's a gamer. He walks around like a 70-year-old man.
Oh, Noah.
Yeah, Noah.
Right. All right, but now did he play last year? Football?
Yeah, he played.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Charles Thompson checking in. You know Charles. Chester.
I know Charles.
Yeah, Charles.
How's it going, Charles?
You know Charles, right?
Sure.
Ernie? Okay. He says bringing the connection with the youth programs are key. Todd has great parents. There you go. My
Sums
man
it
Charles
up.
Thompson. His
I
son's
agree
having a
100%. I'm coaching his younger brother right now at Northley. He's in 7th grade. He's going to be another future Vanguard that Coach Ellis is going to be able to mentor and turn into a heck of a ball player once he gets to high school.
Charles has twins on Chester High, Charles and Noble Thompson. They're having a great senior season for the undefeated Clippers with a big game Friday night. Have you seen anything from Downingtown West, anything from Chester? Yeah, I mean, I'd like if you could analyze, because they're a bigger school west. Mike Milano has been there forever.
Right. They're another team that does nothing fancy.
I know.
I mean, their offensive line fires out like like any pro team. I mean, they do the simple things perfect.
Yeah, that's going to be a great experience for Chester, no matter what. They're playing at Kottmeyer Stadium
Yeah.
also.
Great
And so-
atmosphere.
Oh, yeah, at home, Downingtown East also. They almost beat State College this year. I was following that game, and State College is absolutely loaded. So really, really tough ball in Chester County. So Eskridge, your quarterback, he's a bruiser. He's an animal out there.
Hard runner.
Is he play any other sports?
Nah, he's all football all the time.
Yeah, you need that, and he's not scared of anybody. Obviously, Johnny, older brother, right?
Yes, Johnny was his older brother.
All right, so we're going to go to my man here, Teddy. I need the glasses, Teddy. Try to wait till you get older. So your thoughts on the season so far altogether, 4-3. I know it's going fast for you. I know you love the Thanksgiving game, but you rather go to the playoffs and win a couple of playoff games. 100%. But anyway, your thoughts on overall the season so far, your senior year.
I'd definitely say that we've improved a lot as a family. I think last year we didn't, like Coach Ernie said before, we didn't really have an identity last year. It was a lot of different formations and stuff like that, but we simpled it down and we came together, and it comes down to just us executing at the point of attack. And if we execute, I feel like we can win any game. We're not the biggest team. We're not we're not the strongest team, but I definitely think we have the most heart in the chest mob.
Well, that's on the off season. When do you start working on the weightlifting? I mean, right when the season's over, or
So, our season obviously extends to Thanksgiving Day.
right?
We'll start talking in mid-December, get some things on the books for right after everybody gets back from winter break, and we start in January, early January.
How many seniors do you have?
I think I'll lose 14.
All right, so obviously a lot of kids back, and you said you have a freshman.
So I've kind of, I don't want to sound like a mad scientist, Dave, but really, when I got the position, one of the things I always wanted to do, it's different when you go into a program that's already established. We're trying to fix a broken program, and we need that through numbers and people buying in. So we've kind of taken it with a grain of salt that we're trying to play as many one-way players as possible. And you lose a little bit here and there, but you gain depth. We definitely carve out time for our younger guys to make sure they get their reps so that we're constantly developing. Because you've been around this game long enough, there's going to be injuries. So,
so overall,
we've really focused on trying to create depth as much as possible. Under a lot of the other coaches that I was with, you dabble with those smaller numbers, and it's varsity, and next thing you know, you got 14 guys playing, for 22 spots, and people are going to get hurt. If somebody goes down, I'd rather only be in trouble on one side of the ball than two.
No doubt about it.
And that way, majority of my guys are fresh for special teams, because special teams is a third of the game.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people overlook that, and I think as a coaching staff, we've done a really good job. And listen, sometimes we fight. Oh no, I need this person here, I need that person there, and it's for the betterment of the team. And sometimes you lose a little bit of experience here or there, but Noah's 100% when he's on offense, if he's only playing offense.
Right. He's only a junior.
But he did have a big interception last week.
That kid is a ball magnet. There's no doubt about it. And we use him situationally.
That's all.
Yeah.
I don't like singling, but I know you have. It's a whole team effort. I know I'm missing some guys out there that I didn't. Anybody else you want to?
I'm a lineman guy. I love my linemen.
Yeah.
Linemen lead the way. That's our thing.
As the Redskins used to say, the Hogs.
The Hogs, right?
Yeah.
So I got a freshman starting at center, J.P. Griswold. I got a sophomore at tight end, Aiden Cook. Travis Powell and Nolan Horton are my seniors. I have Sean Curley, who's a junior, at tackle. Matt Howard, junior. Like, I love my linemen, man. They just, I want to get them rolling.
And you're going to need them against Ruston,
Yes,
and that's
sir.
going to be a really exciting game to follow on Friday night. History of Sun Valley, believe it or not, we're going to, in November of 1959, looking through my Delco Times archives, that's when they chose the name the Vanguards and the colors blue and gold. You didn't start playing football till the fall of 1961 at Sun Valley, and you even have more information why it's called the Vanguards at Sun Valley.
So back when I was a student, there was a little history lesson, and they gave bonus points to anybody that could find the answer. So I had reached out to some teachers who had previously retired, and they informed me that the Vanguard was chosen. It was actually because of the Vanguard missile silo that sat right around where Betty's Fun Center is located.
Wow.
And the Vanguard missile silo, I guess, was the part of the Cold War buildup.
Anything still there?
Not that I'm aware of. So originally,
I got to look that up.
Originally, it wasn't the Griffin; it was a missile.
Right. So I always thought it was a bird.
Yeah.
And I remember, but that's what it's a bird sign, isn't it? Not, what the
Griffin?
Yeah, the Griffin.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a lion with wings.
It's just a mascot.
Yeah.
It's a mascot.
But it was a missile
But
originally.
nothing like the Chester mascot, one of the great, which is a clipper ship.
clipper ship,
There you
yeah.
go. Boy, the shipbuilding was huge in Chester back in the day. So fall of 61, first football game, Sun Valley lost to Marple Newtown 32-0 at Harry Harvey Field, Larchmont. Some of the old heads out there, they'll remember that. And then the first win ever, Saturday, October 7th, 6-0 over Chichester. You guys were favored to lose, and you got it done. The head coach, only 1 year. First year, Ben Korn was named Delaware County Times Coach of the Year star player. One of the stars on that 61 Sun Valley team, Brian Mulhern, late great Brian, unbelievable. Eventually went on to coach at Chester High for a few years. A bunch of his sons played at Strathaven, state championships with the Panthers in 99 and 2000. So I could go on and on about Brian. He's got a couple of grandsons out there playing. So there you go. So here's some history. Yeah, Paul Spar was the coach after him from 62 to 66. Bob Fithian, 67 to 84. You probably hear stories.
Now you're getting to names I recognize.
Right. Joe Corabi, 1985 to 87. Joe Walsh, the other Joe Walsh, okay, from 88 to 91. Ron Withelder. Didn't he have a son that played?
Yes.
Was a great player. Okay.
Ron and Ray.
92 and 93. He was 12-9 and 1 2 years. And Rick Straub took over. He was 94 and 96. Joe Paceni, Chris's brother, obviously.
Yeah.
He's there 10 seasons.
Yeah.
71 and 50, and right after you graduate. So Straub was your coach.
I had Withelder for 2 years and then Straub for 2 years.
There you go. And Jim Grugan, one of your mentors. Ray Giunta, pride of Chester and Son, St. James. Ray goes back so far. The guys on that 72 undefeated St. James team, like Coach Gallagher and Kevin O'Connell's dad, Bill O'Connell, they all look up to Ray. Ray was like one of their idols back in the day. How's Bubba doing these days?
I believe he has a daughter now. First child, probably about a year and a half old.
He was there 2017, 18, 19, 20. And then there's Ernie Ellis right there. Ishi Ahmad. Got to give a shout to my man Ishi.
Love Ishi.
He great athlete himself.
Absolutely.
And anything more you want to talk about because I know he's checking in.
He does a great job connecting with the kids. He really does.
Okay, somebody says I have all the stats. Lavert Todd.
He's a very good trainer, too.
Ish. Oh, yeah.
He's one of the dudes who was just like last year when we just had like the whole new coaching staff. It was just, he was there and we had a lot of people, and Ish would really work with the receivers, and he just made sure we knew everything and we can perfect it. So he was a really good guy. He still is.
Ishi Ahmad. Bright future in the coaching business. That's
Dynamite young man.
So, yeah, you're a mentor of a lot of these guys also. And, JR, back to you once again, youth coach, and I can't believe time is flying. Got about 5 minutes left here. What else you got going? The fundraiser again tomorrow night before the big volleyball match between the Lady Vanguards, if you can call it Lady Vanguards, and the Lady Eagles of Bishop Shanahan.
Yes, I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out that myself and the Brookhaven Babe Ruth Baseball Board have just got a grant for the softball, Brookhaven girls softball, and for the boys baseball, Brookhaven, to put up lights at each field.
Wow, nice.
So we hope to do that within the next, we're hoping for like 2024 to fundraise and to get the lights up. Hopefully before that, but you know.
And you're doing so much, man. You're promoting the kids, getting pictures with them, and baseball. And what other sports are you? Baseball, basketball, football. What else?
I started my basketball coaching career in Brookhaven. This will be probably my last year as my son ages out. Of course, you know, if the younger kids say, "Hey, coach, you want to coach?" I probably would always say yes. But you know, as of now, this may be my last season in Brookhaven. I also coach Northley 8th grade, which has been a great experience, you know, just trying to keep kids around, man, you know, let them have fun, you know, get them up to the high school program, you know, great gym, great facilities, good coaches, you know, as a few years ago, District 1 champs. They're reloading, got a lot of good young players. So we're just trying to keep the program moving.
Yeah, that was fun covering those teams, man. Yeah, the Sun Valley, I announced a lot of those basketball games back in the Vinny D'Angelo days. He ended up the second most points against Chester High in postseason game at the Clip Joint.
Oh, really?
Behind Jeff Lebo.
That was an amazing game.
Yeah.
I think they played back-to-back years there, didn't they? Or
No, Chester only one time.
only one.
Oh, well, in the playoffs.
Yeah, in the playoffs. And
That was it.
Vinny, man, he lit up the court that night.
It's 2018. Right, so that was a district game, and then they went out to northeastern York and lost a tough game out there, first round of the states. And the next year went all the way to the state quarterfinals in 5A, and then ran into that. And I know them very well because they always knocked Chester out 2 years in a row. Abington Heights, not Abington, but they're up in the Scranton.
Okay.
That's where they're from. Tinsley, and they were just, and that's a team that knocked out, not only in 2018, knocked out Bonner in the state semifinals, Chester in the quarterfinals, and then 2019 they knocked out, I think, Sun Valley. And Sun Valley had a great team, and what can you do? You know how it is. And hopefully you guys can make the playoffs, and what an experience that would be, and try to get a W.
That'd be huge. That would be huge.
You got to get there first, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Got to take care of business.
I wish I had a show where I could actually like talk to you every week. Maybe there's another good buddy of mine has a show because I like these updates right here. You know what I mean? So Jean-Pierre, thank you very much for producing the show here tonight. And again, Teddy Podboreski, great job. Any thoughts from you? Is this your first time you've actually been on a TV/radio program?
Well, it's definitely the first time I've been live and talked on a live thing. I have my own podcast. I won't promote it on another podcast. But,
No, that's all right, man.
well, it's called JLS. I started it about last year. It's called abbreviated JLS. It's Just Live Sports. I started that on my own, and then I slowly worked in more and more people. But yeah, this is the first time I've been live. I do other ones. I just record it and usually post the episode, but this is the first one I do live. But
He also does announcing for Aston AA football.
Oh, there you go.
I do love announcing.
PA,
It's
public
very-
address announcing? Yeah.
Yeah, I do it for the little kids all the time. It's just great to be out there and just announce for them because, I mean, they deserve it. They're working hard, so, I mean, they deserve some
Yeah, they like
recognition.
hearing their
name to be
names
put out
announced.
there.
And make sure you got to get them right, though, because I know.
I know the names.
I mean, that can be tough out
No,
there.
I know. The parents will get on
So
you.
JLS Sports.
Yes, sir.
Can you interview people over the the TV, like a Zoom, something like that? Because
Yeah,
you should try to I can do like a week, every week, like a football thing with you.
We
or
could
something.
definitely get together and do something. It's usually, I use an app called Anchor, and then I usually I'll copy the link and transfer it to other people, and they can join through there, and then, I'll edit it with the MacBook or whatever.
Oh,
But-
well, we'll keep in touch. And, Coach Ellis on there.
100%.
There's so many things you can do, man. So, all right, guys, thank you very much. J.R. Dipro, Coach Ernie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Painless, no problem.
No problem.
Because I could go on and on and on. CMP, thank Jean-Pierre, thank you very much. And Teddy, I got to get a picture with you, okay? Dave Burman, we'll see you next time.